and I will be going to discuss about Robert Browning and the dramatic monologue. So now, let us discuss who is Robert Browning and what is dramatic monologue. But before anything else, let me introduce who is Robert Browning. So Robert Browning was a Victorian poet who lived from 1812 to 1889. He was known for exploring deep emotions and dark themes and the human mind in his poetry. He is also often used a style called dramatic monologue, which is I will going to discuss later on, where a character speaks directly to the reader. He was married also to another famous poet, which was Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Although his work wasn't very popular at first, he became well known later in life, especially after publishing his long poem entitled The Ring and the Book. So now, since we are done discussing about Robert Browning, let us now define what is dramatic monologue. So what is dramatic monologue? Dramatic monologue is a kind of poem where one person, a speaker, talks to someone who doesn't speak back through their words, and the speaker shares their own thoughts and emotions. So we have here three bullets, which is the first one, it combines elements of drama and poetry. So which means the poem feels like a scene from a play or a drama gayon, with the character speaking directly. At the same time, it uses the rhythm, language, and the style of poetry. So the second bullet is the speaker often unintentionally reveals more than they intend. So even though one speaker is telling their own story or opinion, they often give away details about their personality or situation without meaning to, showing the reader things they didn't plan to share. So the third one is the form explores character morality and psychology. Ang dramatic monologues ay focus on who the speaker is, which is ang character, what they believe is right or wrong, which is ang morality, and how they think or feel, which is the psychology. It helps readers understand complex human behavior. So let us now proceed about Browning's contribution to the form. So again, Robert Browning is known for making the dramatic monologue a powerful type of poem, which is I've discussed recently. In a dramatic monologue, one character speaks to someone else who stays in silence. So Robert Browning used this form to let readers see inside the speaker's mind or their own thoughts. His characters often use proud, jealous, or even dangerous, and they usually don't realize how much they are revealing about themselves. This makes readers think deeply and figure out the truth on their own. In many of his works, the speaker unknowingly shows their flaws, making the readers look deeper to understand the truth. These 3 points, My Last Duchess, Porphyria's Lover, and the Bishop ordered his stamps at St. President's Church, are great examples of how Browning uses his form to explore human emotions like jealousy, obsession, pride, and vanity. Each poem features a speaker in a moment of intense emotions or reflection through words. So with that, we discover who they really are, even they are trying to hide it. These dramatic monologues don't just tell the stories, they also invite the readers to listen closely and think critically about the speaker's true character. So since we're done discussing about the contribution of Robert Browning to those forms that I've discussed, let us now proceed about the famous dramatic monologues made by Robert Browning. So, the first one is My Lost Duchess. So this poem is about a dog talks to a visitors about a painting of his late wife. As he speaks, he reveals his jealousy and need for control. He didn't like how friendly and kind she was to others. He hints that he had her killed because she didn't behave the way he wanted. So for elaboration or for us to know, the poem shows how the pride and power can ruin the relationship. The dog the dog thinks he's just telling a story, but he actually reveals how cruel or possessive he is. Meanwhile, the second poem, which was also made by Robert Browning, is Porphyria's Lover. So this poem is about a man sits with his lover, Porphyria. During a storm, when she stays, she loves him. He believes the moment is perfect to preserve it or to treasure the moment that they had. He kills her by strangling her with her hair. So for the elaboration of this poem, it is about the speaker believes she feels no pain and it is only the happiness, showing how delusional and obsessed he is. The poem explores also the love that turns into madness and control. So the last poem that was made by Robert Browning is The Bishop Orders His Stamp at St. Praset's Church. So this poem, the short summary, is all about a dying bishop speaks to his sons about building a grand town for him. He talks more about riches, status, and outstanding others than about faith or heaven. So therefore, the message or the content of that poem shows how even religious leaders can be selfish and materialistic. The bishop's words reveals his vanity or the vanity and desire for earthly glory, not spiritual peace. Although Robert Browning's poems often focus on characters who are jealous, proud, or obsessed, the goal isn't to admire these characters. Instead, it is how we learn from them. So, since Browning uses this flawed people to teach us important lessons about human behavior and emotions. So, just like My Last Duchess, it is about pride and jealousy, which can lead to someone or the silence of his wife forever. So, that poem shows how dangerous it can be when we let our emotions take control without understanding others. So why is it until now the dramatic monologues of Robert Browning still remains? It's because they reflect the complexity of human emotions and motivations. So Browning's characters reveals deep, often conflicting feelings. So the second one is the dangers of power and pride. Robert Browning's monologues often feature powerful figures whose arrogance, which is, can lead to downfall or cruelty. It is also can highlight the corrupting effects of unchecked authority. So the third one is the timeless nature of moral dilemmas. So which means the ethical questions in his poems about the justice, responsibility, or the conscience, or remain relevant across eras. The last one is his poems challenge readers to think critically and empathetically. So by presenting flawed complex narrators, Browning invites readers to analyze perspectives and understand motives beyond surface and judgments. So, for the conclusion, Robert Browning changed the way poetry was written by showing what people think and feel deep inside. Instead of just telling stories, he let his characters speak for themselves in dramatic monologues. So therefore, it can help us or even the readers to see not just what they said, but also what was being kept in secret or left out. So, with the quote of Robert Browning, which is, "It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. It, it can help us to reflect ourselves. It shows how Browning valued the creativity, the how we believe that it is more important to try something new, even if doesn't work, but to avoid than to copy others just to be safe. So he encouraged us to be different. It is what we made by ourselves and for his work to stand out. So again, I am Mitzian Siobao, and I hope I discussed properly about Robert Browning's and his dramatic monologue, and I hope you learned something new with my discussion. Thank you.